Our interviewer this evening is a current senior and has been a participant, now mentor, in the Long Island Advocacy Center's Real Youth Transition Program for the past 3 years. Juliana, we welcome you. Our interviewee is Owen. He is a current 8th grade student and came to the attention of LIAC through a Facebook post seeking a community outreach opportunity to speak about and encourage others in developing self-advocacy skills as they navigate various school and community settings with challenges arising from disability. Owen, thank you for taking on this important project and working with LIAC in bringing it forward. Thank you both again for being here and for serving as role models for up-and-coming self-advocates. Juliana, I will now hand it over to you for the interview.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to ask you about your disability and how you disclose your disability. So can you tell me if and when, how you disclose your disability to anybody, to teacher, friends?
So like when someone first finds out? So when someone first finds out, normally if they're a kid or a friend, they might ask what's in my ear, and I'll be like, oh, that's a hearing aid. It helps me hear because I have hearing loss and I hear differently than other people. And it just helps me in order to hear more similarly and be able to catch things that others are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm talking to a teacher, I also like to explain that it's not, well, I always like to make the analogy that's just like wearing glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not anything that should separate us. It's just something that might be slightly different about me.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own unique things. Everyone has something that we're not all the same. So I like to always just say it's just something slightly different about me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do the same thing. So that's good. So following that question, do you think that your hearing loss is a disability? Do you consider it a disability?
I'll consider it a disability, but I try to think of it more as just something that makes me unique.
Yeah.
I don't always like, sometimes I just like to treat it as something that makes me unique because it shouldn't be something that makes me not normal or anything.
Yeah.
It's just something that's unique about me.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. What is one thing you wish others knew about your hearing loss?
One thing I wish others knew about hearing loss is that, again, it's someone with hearing loss isn't really that much different from anyone else. You can still do everything. For example, just last night, I was inducted into my school's National Junior Honor Society. I play instruments, I do theater. So I feel like I can, even though it might be slightly difficult or slightly different for me to do something, it's not anything more but then slightly a challenge. But I have accommodations, and I always try to use self-advocacy in order to make that easier and easier for me to be just like everyone else. And it's just like someone with deafness is able to do anything someone else can do.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's 100%. You're 100% right, because I feel the same way. So that's good. That's good. If you could change one thing others assume or misunderstand about you, what would it be?
If I could change a misconception about deafness, it would probably be a lot of people might think deafness makes someone not normal. Like I said earlier, it shouldn't be something that separates us. It should be something that's just unique about you. It shouldn't be ashamed upon. It should just be embraced.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. All right. So you're talking about self-advocacy and how you use that, and I use that too. I use it all the time with my teachers and even my friends. So is there like a favorite thing about being a self-advocate?
Something I love about being a self-advocate for myself is just the feeling you get. You feel so empowered when you're able to just speak up for yourself and get what you need to be successful
Yeah.
rather than keeping it inside and just struggling. It being a self-advocate really helps. Um, Even if you might think someone might like make fun of you or something, it just is there to help. And I also love how it creates independence.
It does, yes.
And it helps you become a more independent person because you're not relying on others to get and like look out for you and get what you need. You get what you need yourself, and you don't have to always wait for others to ask what you need.
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, like personally, it took me a while to like ask like teachers for stuff and like speak up because I was nervous about it. But then after a while, I overcame it, and I am self-advocate all the time in every class that I go to and to all my teachers. And I think
You're
it really helped.
It takes a long time to get used to adjusting to advocating for yourself, but once you get it and you realize how empowered you feel after it, I feel like it really changes something and helps you just realize how much just asking for to move your seat, for example, could help.
Yeah, it's like such a small little comment will make a big change.
Just the slightest of adjustments can
Yeah.
change a lot.
Do you like find anything challenging about being a self-advocate or like something that you don't like?
Something Probably one of my least favorite things about being a self-advocate would be just the nerves of the first initial time you're talking to. It doesn't even have to be the first time you're saying it in your life. It could just be the first time with a new teacher.
Yeah.
Like I've had teachers where I wasn't sure what they were going to say to me or how they were going to react.
Mhm.
But most of the time, and almost all the time I've ever tried to self-advocate for myself, the teacher has been nothing but respectful about it and has really made me feel welcome. Other than a couple times, I've really gotten good results with teachers, and it's really helped when you have someone that's responsive.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like teachers are like really understanding, especially like nowadays rather than like back then. Um, but yeah, I agree with that. Um, let's see. Is there any advice that you like to give to like a friend or a peer about being a self-advocate?
If I was going to tell someone that is wants to begin self-advocating for self, I would most definitely tell them to just be confident, be yourself, and just stick up for what you need. And if you need it, you should have it.
Yeah, all right.
So
I like that. I really do like that. So do you have any accommodations in school?
yeah, so in school I have preferential seating, so I'm able to sit in the front or so the teacher typically most of my teachers have always asked where I want to sit, and I've always typically said just towards the front or middle, so it's not
Mhm.
like crazy like I'm right in the front middle like always, but somewhere in that general area, so it's not like always right there, but you know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Um,
And I have an FM microphone that I use sometimes.
okay.
Now that I'm in middle school and I'm switching classes a lot, I only use it for certain classes, certain days.
Mhm.
Because certain teachers I have very clear, loud voices, and I feel it's not necessary to be carrying around and teaching everyone how to use it if it's really not necessary. But the select few teachers I have had that need it, I do like to give it to them.
Mhm.
And a couple other accommodations I have a quiet room for oral testing. So
Mhm.
like so if I'm in a language class and we're doing speaking or listening tests, I could get a quiet room, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, English even,
Mhm.
sometimes oral stuff. And then I also use I have hearing services that I meet once a month with a hearing specialist that or
Okay.
not but a hearing teacher that we go over some self-advocacy skills, some strategies to use in school. I also for videos in class that I always have the teacher and I have it that they put on closed captions and I'm able to visualize what the people in movies or videos are saying. And I also get uh oh written stuff read aloud
Okay.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have similar accommodations. I remember when I was in middle school, I also didn't carry around my FM because I felt like it wasn't like necessary for each class. Now that I'm in high school, I barely use it, but it's still there for me if I need it. But that's good. All your accommodations are like the same. When I talk to teachers about like preferential seating, I usually like tell them like, oh, like not by the AC, like not by
Yeah, that's
that.
other things. Yeah,
Yeah, so like it's
not by
better.
windows. Like,
Yeah, and they understand it, and it's like easy,
and
easy,
most
easy.
teachers are very responsive about it because they want you to feel welcome in your classroom.
Yeah,
They want you to be able to learn successfully.
yeah, of course. Um, how do these accommodations help you, like in a classroom setting? I know you said like hearing the teacher clearly. I think you pretty much explained it, but is there anything else you can add?
Yeah, it really just helps because even without it, like in bold text, like the teachers are very responsive. Like I said, they'll repeat really anything for really anyone, but especially me and other kids with hearing loss. And my teachers have never given me a problem about repeating words that they like. And I take French in school,
Okay.
and my French teachers have never given me a problem about repeating stuff on tests, listening tests. Like we did, for example, we did a test on our final last year. We did there's listening stuff where we had to we heard a word and we had to like match it to the picture. And my teacher never even hesitated to repeat it if I needed.
Mhm.
So I could hear it again and figure out what I needed to figure out.
Yeah, that's really nice. I do the same thing. I also go out of the classroom for testing and for even quizzes too, because the help is there if I need it and I use it. So yeah. So you use excessive technology, right? You use an FM system?
Yes.
You do. Okay. So um is there any like um excessive technology that you don't use? So it's just the microphone, right?
Yeah.
It's just the microphone. Okay, so for
And the
me,
closed captions for videos as
closed
well.
captions too, yes. Um, for me, I only have a hearing aid in one ear, so I have like another piece that goes in my right ear, so the sound balances out. So those are my two pieces. But sometimes I only use the FM and not the other piece. Um, but yeah, that's me. So you just have the FM, right?
Yeah, I have hearing aids in both ears and then I use the FM as
Oh,
well. Which
it's
pairs.
Bluetooth, right? It like
Yeah.
connects to it. Cool. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to see. Um, So is there any advice that you want to share with someone who's nervous about self-advocating or just like starting out?
Yeah, I would say to someone who's nervous about self-advocating, again, just be yourself, be confident, and
Mhm.
if you really need something, you should get what you need. If you can't hear your teacher, you should be telling them, and they shouldn't give you a problem. And i- if they do, it's not like you should stand up for yourself because that's what you need.
Yeah, totally.
It's just you should be able to have what you need and be able to understand what the teacher's teaching.
Yeah, of course. And what always I would use if I was nervous to talk to a teacher, I would go to another teacher that I really trusted and I would ask them. And that's even self-advocacy too, because you're going to you're like one-on-one teacher and asking them to like ask another teacher. Um, but yeah, I always use that to my advantage if I didn't want to talk to a specific teacher. um, what are some goals and how will self-advocacy help achieve your goals?
Some of the goals, I definitely would like to go to college. I want to have a nice career. I want to be able to help kids and even just parents with hearing loss, parents of kids with hearing loss, and I want even other disabilities as well, maybe. And I want to be able to help those people that might not be able to stand up for themselves, and I want to be able to give them what they need.
Mhm.
And self-advocacy could really help because it really creates the independence, like we said earlier, and just makes people aware of what you need. So maybe next time you don't have to keep asking,
Mhm.
and maybe that teacher will know for next, or if it's a teacher, that teacher will know for next time if there's another student what they might need and ask them if that's what they might need as well. So it's almost like a domino effect, I feel like,
Yeah,
because helping one person could help so many others.
yeah. What are some qualities that make up a good self-advocate?
Qualities that make up a good self-advocate. Someone who might be unique, might have a disability, and someone that wants to be just as successful as any kid without any kid that's hearing. Sorry, my dogs.
It's okay.
But any someone that wants to be successful but might need assistance in order to do that, and they
Yeah,
accept that. They accept the fact that they need some assistance and they're willing to ask for it.
yeah. Wow. So, can you share a time that you used your voice as a self-advocate in school that
Yeah.
like impacted you in a good way?
Yeah, so I've had a teacher that um he reprimanded me for talking slightly louder than I was allowed to. And I kindly explained to him that me personally, and I've noticed with other kids with hearing loss that I know,
Mhm.
that we tend to speak slightly louder because and I know especially for me, because I'm meeting myself at a level where I can hear myself.
Yeah.
So, and I know what I'm saying. So I explained to him, and he tells me, well, maybe you could just feel it in your throat that you know how loud you're talking.
Mm.
And I said to him, well, I that's not really how that works. And if you want me to talk quieter, you can just tell me without yelling it across the classroom.
Yeah.
And so the teacher, I have him again this year, but he has not done anything of the sort.
Oh, that's good.
And I think he learned.
Yeah. He definitely
And
learned.
I
Wow.
felt very empowered because I stood up for myself and I just made him aware that I might talk slightly louder and he should just come up to me and let me know if I'm yelling or talking slightly louder than I should be, and I can lower my voice without feeling it in my throat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a better way. Like, I feel like that's like almost rude to say that, but
And he yells across the classroom, but
yeah. Also, it's not our fault that we talk loud. It's just the way we hear ourselves. So,
yeah.
wow, that's the first time I've ever heard that before. So afterward, after like telling him that, you felt like good about yourself.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. So yeah, I think that's it for me. I think I answered all the questions. You did good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fantastic and such amazing conversation. Thank you again to both of you. Owen, is there anything else you want to share on the topic?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, you did great, and thank you both again. We
Of course.
appreciate
No problem. Anytime.
it. You'll hear from us again.